What's up, everybody? Dean here. Today we're talking about some unfortunate truths. Not rumors, not internet fan fiction, some very real, unfortunate truths. I'm talking about documented abuses of power and critical habitual failures and accountability within the system. And before we go any further, let me be very clear. I'm not here to convict people in this podcast episode, however much I may like to. I'm here to ask questions the victims and the world deserves to have answered. I ask those questions lawfully and without favoritism. Also, as an early aside, I am in no way suicidal, nor do I want to harm myself. Children were exploited while powerful people blatantly and continuously manipulate the systems that govern us. The Epstein files and everything that encompasses them are not just another headline. This is by far the worst thing that has been brought to light in my lifetime. And it's all led on by the global elite that rule our country and others. I believe this is a moral test of humanity. So today we face facts where facts exist. We ask questions where questions remain. And I'm calling for one standard for everybody. Not one for regular people, and one for the elite. Let's dive in.
I can go back in time and erase it. Fighting demons, fighting cases, living through the walls of trials and tribulation.
Go deep. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to As Deep as It Gets. It's your boy Dean here, coming to you live right now from Columbus, Ohio. It's early morning, about 6 a.m. And if I'm being completely honest and transparent here, which is how I like to be on this podcast, I was very reluctant to make this podcast. You all know I'm not really scared of much, but I won't lie, I'm low-key worried they might off me. So to all my inspirations, Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate, Jordan B. Peterson, Dan Carlin, PFT, the whole macrodosing crew, everyone, thanks for inspiring me. And if they get me, well, I had a nice run, man. 23 episodes. I'm just kidding. But seriously, this one is not really for your entertainment. As much as it is my sanity and hopefully your awakening. You're awakening to how deep the evil around us really runs in this world. And a lot of you might already be awakened to this fact. The Epstein files that have been recently released in the last couple weeks are a true travesty in every sense of the word, guys. We need to be outraged at the alleged acts that have occurred. And if you don't know the extremities of the situation at hand, I'm going to give it to you like this, plain and simple. The best case scenario alleged, the upper elites are sexually assaulting and abusing innocent 14-year-old boys and girls. Worst case scenario alleged, the elitists are defaming even younger children in the worst possible ways and drinking the blood of small children as young as infants. Yes, you heard that correctly. And I don't really ever want to utter those words again. But this is what these files insinuate at many turns. Everybody. And I'm sorry I even had to speak that. We are no longer dealing with conspiracies or theories anymore, everyone. These files have been released, and what they are doing is their absolute best to cover up and cover their ass any way they can, while they can. We got internet sleuths all over this. Like, I'm going to show you guys some stuff today. It's just, and I typically like to be positive and uplifting, but I think it's imperative that we, the people of the United States, alongside the rest of the world, do not turn a blind eye to this travesty. These are crimes against humanity. and what we do with the information that has been presented upon us decides who we are as people and where we end up as a society, I believe. Because if we can't discuss this, the protecting the lives of small, innocent children, if we can't discuss this with clarity, maybe we really should just give up. I mean, if this doesn't wake you guys up to the division they are trying to instill between us, I honestly don't think anything will. You have to understand, this is no longer red versus blue, me versus you. This is good versus evil. So the hardest part of all this is accepting that this realization could even possibly be true, and then looking it in the eye. The hardest part is facing the mirror. And these files, this moment, our society at the mirror, I'm going to be real with you guys. Part of, power, abuse, and accountability at this level, it can feel very dangerous. Especially it being so close to where I live in Columbus, which is what we'll get to soon. And just so you guys know, I haven't been this happy about life and the direction I am headed for a while. But I make this podcast for you guys, the listener, and for myself, so that one day I can look back and know that I didn't stay silent when things mattered. As deep as it gets, we'll be on the correct side of history. And this is sort of my stand and my take on all of this. And as one of my friends or someone lost in the abyss with me, I'm asking you to make this stand with me, clearly and with courage. I don't want to get ourselves in too much trouble, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to speak up. I've built this platform so I can express my ideas and how I feel on things, so I intend to do so. And I believe it starts with small things that we can do together that collectively add up. We're not going to fix the things in this broken society overnight, but I do have some ideas of where we can start holistically. And let's just go over the facts a little bit of what we have and what's documented. Epstein operated a trafficking network. Underage victims were exploited. Powerful people had social and financial proximity. There were some prosecutions that happened. And then there were other investigations that have stalled. Public transparency has been partial, delayed, and uneven. And that is all on record. It's not me making this up. When records this large get unsealed, the reaction to it shouldn't be like, let's use this for entertainment or for clicks. It should be moral clarity as a society. So here's where we're gonna have a pretty big hits deep section, and I'm gonna sort of show you some videos that I've been seeing. And one guy who's been speaking up is Sean Ryan. So
it is worse than we're all expecting. But I'll tell you one thing that it has proved. Watching the administration dodge it and try to hurry it up and move along. I just saw today they don't think the American people should be talking about this anymore.
I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Now that nothing came out about me.
Well, I got news for you. The American people are the ones that voted you in. We're the ones that voted you in, and we told you what we wanted before your ass got in there. And you're not doing it. None of these people that we elected. It's pathetic. And so what it shows is a two-tier justice system, just like we all suspected and we've been talking about for years. The two-tier justice system. Why would you not investigate every single son of a bitch that went to that island? Doesn't mean they're all guilty. Doesn't mean that at all. But it at least calls for some type of investigation, not just sweeping the shit under the rug like they always do, and they always have done. They bat this shit around. They get people all fired up. And then there's no justice. None. I'll tell you what, though. There sure as hell would be if it would have been me and you. But no.
Sure as heck would be. I'm going to pause right there. And I think that's sort of what I'm saying. If it was me or you doing any of this, we'd be screwed. And this is sort of what I'm trying to say and where we need to stand up for ourselves as citizens. I'll let it continue.
Nope. The political elites answer to no one. No one. That's how it goes. That's how it's been for a long, long time. Unbelievable. You know, I don't even see right or left, Republican, Democrat, black, white. I don't see any of that shit anymore. I see good and I see a whole lot of evil. And those are the two categories that we need to be concerned about.
They are legitimately, proactively protecting. They are protecting by redacting the abuser's name. The White House, listen up, everybody. The White House is protecting. You hear that? They're protecting. That's what they're doing.
It is worse.
So that's just one video. I got a couple more for you. This is, you know, if I can get old Andrew out. Let's see.
Find a video of them talking about purposefully inflating the currency, maybe I wouldn't be a crazy conspiracy theorist anymore. Maybe they're telling you what they're going to do. I don't know if anyone at home actually understands something about Satanism. And people often talk about Satanists ruling the world. Satanism.
Alex Jones started this. Shout out to Alex.
I think it's pretty clear that the people ruling the world aren't very good people based on everything we've seen in these files. So let's see what Andrew has to say.
Jones.
Big G. Satanism relies on the fact that they have to tell you what they're going to do.
They can't deceive you.
They can't deceive you because then there's karmic retribution. The only thing Satanists believe in is if they deceive you and trick you, they will be punished for it. So what they have to do is tell you exactly what they're going to do. Let me give you an example. If I give you an apple that's poisoned and I say, do you want an apple? And you eat it, I've poisoned you. If I say, do you want a poison apple? And then you eat it, it's suicide. Therefore, I am not responsible for your death if I told you it was a poison apple. Therefore, I am not responsible for the decimation and extermination of your entire fucking bloodline if I told you what I was going to do and you didn't do anything about it. If I sat there and told you what my intention was and you sat on your ass jerking off the Pornhub and watching football, then you deserve to die. That's what they believe.
A little harsh, but yeah.
And you're sitting there going, oh, well, you know,
Maybe they're joking.
Arsenal plays next week. I'm gonna go down the pub with my mates. Don't you care? Why am I trying to drag you from the abyss? Why am I trying to wake you up? Hello? You need a parachute. The plane's about to crash. And you're sitting there stuffing your face with peanuts.
We'll go business class seats. Not that bad.
What's wrong with you people? They literally tell you what they're going to do to you. You don't even care. It's so over.
It is over, isn't it?
And that's what I'm worried about, guys. I'm worried about it being over. I know you guys might not be. Maybe you're more optimistic than me. And I thought this was this one was another true one.
You guys will protest literally everything, and then they come out and they say that they eat babies and nobody's protesting. Like, what's the criteria to go protest for something nowadays? Because obviously eating babies isn't, the threshold. No, like, I'm actually curious because you guys will sit there and protest who's in office and who gets voted up and to be a higher power. But when they eat kids, you guys just don't care. I'm not a protester because I don't really care about things I can't control, and standing out in the street isn't gonna do anything. But to the people who like to protest, like, you're not protesting the higher ups eating kids.
Yeah, so that's a pretty extreme claim. Not one I'm willing to make just yet based on the facts. I haven't skied through the files enough myself yet to know but that's definitely sort of alleged in there, guys. And this is why I don't think the public is outraged enough. I really I know it seems like well, Dean, what are we going to do? But
I hope it is. I'm saying what I care about is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Fuck them. Okay? I think it's a real weakness to want to be liked. A real weakness.
I think it's a real weakness to want to be liked as well. And that's sort of why I'm voicing my opinion, but we'll keep going. I think I might have a couple more. This one is, we're going to make this the last one till we get on to the next segment, but this was a little thought-provoking thing that I seen.
Why Epstein's leak is now everywhere? It's not some random gotcha. It's a playbook move, used by power for centuries. You don't fix a dying system, you burn its reputation to ash on purpose. You drown the masses in filth until the old world itself makes them sick.
That's the whole show. First, they spoon-feed you shocking truth. Then, the media blitz. Every headline a nail in the coffin. Politicians, celebs, old money, all dragged through the mud. It's about breaking the audience.
But isn't that good? Like, if everyone's a crook, at least now we know, right? Shouldn't sunlight disinfect the room?
No, kid. Sunlight's just the setup. When all trust is exhausted, the demand for something new becomes inevitable. That's when they roll out solutions. Incorruptible AI judges, new digital money, total transparency. All wrapped up in words like safety, fairness, and reset.
People want that. They're sick of scandals, tired of hidden dirt. We have the tech now. Why not let machines run things? At least then, no more old creeps making backroom deals.
You ever wonder why every leak just happens at the perfect moment? Epstein's files drop right as the world economy wobbles. Currencies crack, debts explode. It's called engineered timing, not coincidence.
While everyone's busy binge-watching elite scandals, behind the curtain they're resetting the board. Old assets erased, debts written off, digital currencies quietly rolled out. The filth you see on your phone is the moral excuse for the next system. Look, the old world was corrupt, but this time it'll be pure. Trust us. They want you to beg for a leash.
But isn't it good to wipe a slate clean? If everyone's guilty, doesn't it make sense to start from zero? At least now it's transparent?
Transparent? You mean like a glass cell? That's the transparency you're signing up for. Every transaction logged, every move tracked. All under the pretext of protecting you from them. But now you're monitored, analyzed, managed.
Remember this, in history, every regime that wanted total control started by exposing the last one. Scandal, outrage, necessary, reset. Then the new rules. Digital ID, programmable cash, no room for dissent. Nobody escapes the beta, not even the top players.
Nobody wants uncertainty. People trade liberty for protection every time, especially when they're scared. That's why the leaks are never full, never random, always just enough to terrify, not to empower. Notice they show you monsters, but never the strengths.
So the whole Epstein leak, it's like the world's biggest ad for New World Order?
Bingo, kid. While you're scrolling it all and picking sides, they're scrubbing the balance sheets, resetting the scoreboard, and selling you a digital world where everything is clean because nothing is private.
So what now? Just wait for the next leak to get even darker?
It always gets darker, kid. Every new scandal is just another step in the reset. Tighter rules, more eyes, fewer choices.
The beast doesn't need your hope. It just needs your consent.
And that's really scary, guys. You know, and I didn't, make this podcast to scare you guys. I sort of made it to, it was in hopes of waking some of you up who might not be aware or in tune with this stuff. And so now bringing this a little closer to home, I want you guys to know this is not just a New York or Washington, D.C. or London and England headline with the royals. This touches the globe, and it also touches Columbus also. And yes, we have a big wig Columbus billionaire here, Les Wexner. And here are some documented points the public already knows and can verify. Epstein managed Wexner's finances for years. Epstein held significant authority in that financial relationship. Epstein obtained a Manhattan property from Wexner under terms that drew major scrutiny. Wexner has publicly said he was deceived and later cut ties. Wexner has not been convicted of Epstein-related crimes just yet. And there's actually a hearing for that today in New Albany. And I'm not declaring criminal guilt on the guy where no court has just yet, but that hearing today is in New Albany, right up the road, and we'll see how loud money talks or if there's any justice in this world. See how different the rules are for a billionaire compared to the common man like me or Sal, And I'm not just declaring we a lot of people online are calling, and that's what I'm going to get to next, for support. And when that level of power in our community, in the community in which I live, is entangled with, a convicted trafficker or someone with that much power, it sort of scares me. That's just right up the road in New Albany. It freaks me out. He has a big ass estate, like probably sending people here to get me. Like I said, I'm never been happier with life. But, when the public has every right to demand full transparency, and this isn't defamation. He's going to a hearing for all this today in New Albany. You can look it up. But here's some stuff I was on the internet looking around and I found about Wexner because it's so close to home and what people are calling for. Grand Old Party Centers declined to give away Wexner donations amid Epstein probe. Enough is enough. No more Wexner. Right now, OSU is waffling on doing something about Wexner's name all over the place. Say there's some bullshit process they have to go through once we're good and ready, but fuck that. City has the opportunity to tell OSU we're not interested in waiting on their bullshit because they're scared of having to give back some of the money. We can be, yet again, the butt of any sort. We can, you guys can look this up online. And so here's a brand to remove Wexner's name from the medical center and all the campus facilities. A healing name, healing cannot carry a name tied to harm. I support, I support that. I don't think, every year for the Michigan game, we go and we put, the X on all the M's. I think it's time to put the Xer on Wexner, if you ask me. And that's just my opinion. I don't like seeing that. I hate corrupt money. I hate corrupt systems. I always have. It's just who I am. And when I see the flourish, I can't believe that's, it bothers me, guys. It bothers me that such power, that people can just walk around and do whatever they want with no repercussions because, we're not all afforded that opportunity. What separates that man from us? Money, status, political influence? Sure. But we need to be putting an end to those things, if that makes sense. And that's what I'm sort of calling for with this podcast. We got more people mentions of him. The mayor declines to give away Wexner donations while others are giving away the donations. So there's a whole thread in here of just, people are fed up. And I am, like I said, I am not trying to, if the institutions of healing in our city carry names that are tied to unresolved public trust questions, well, I think citizens have every right to revisit those naming choices through, lawful process, or even, if we got to go up and put the X's on everything. I don't think that's cancel culture. I mean, we do it for our rival up north. I mean, I think that's having some standards. Truly, I think it would say a lot of us as a community and as a state if we banded against that. I think it would speak for Ohio as a whole. I mean, I don't know what, I don't know where our political elites are, like, with everything. I mean, it's hard for me to trust anyone. I really like President Trump. My dad's the biggest fan. I got him a Trump calendar. And I'm not, convicting President Trump or Vice President Vance of any wrongdoing that I don't know of. But what I do know is, where are these leaders who we elected trying to shut down? Like, we do need to get those names off the buildings. I don't even think that's like really up for debate. I think it's more like it's gonna take public intervention, I think. And I'm not promoting rioting or anything like that, like we had, which who knows how much of that was mainstream media fed to us. That's what I'm saying, guys. You guys have to wake up to the fact that the mainstream media is not showing you things in your best interest. And you need to be getting your news from different sources. And I'm not even saying that's me. I'm saying you need to be getting it from, like, my YouTube has been my best friend. I've been watching, the best thing I seen this week was this Chase Hughes podcast about the ancients decoding reality. Go check that one out. Came out like 4 or 5 days ago. It was awesome. And he sort of alludes into we are in a sort of awakening period, guys. And like I said, I think it's time we block out the last name of someone so close to something so devious. And I'm going to try and draw the line here. Like I said, I'm not pushing all these unverified horror stories as fact. I want you to just consider, I'm not endorsing mob justice, but I am endorsing that we band together as a community and we demand full lawful investigation, and we demand that our institutions be transparent, and we demand equal accountability and victim first justice, and that everybody gets the same treatment within the legal system. If the transparency scares people in power, I think that tells you everything you need to know. I was watching something on YouTube yesterday. It was, Hillary and Bill Clinton were supposed to show up to this court subpoena thing, and they left a note or something, and they didn't show up to their thing, and that alone sort of spoke to a little bit of guilt. Why wouldn't they go to the hearing if they had nothing to do with it? The biggest threat to us as a society right now isn't outrage. I believe it's our numbness to all of this as a society, because it's so difficult for all of us, myself included, to fathom this type of evil. And not only is it difficult to fathom, the elitists have trapped us in this rat race where we compete for money and our egos compete for status, while they all sit on an island together and abuse children. And I want you guys to know that this is by their design. It is by their design that it becomes difficult for us to be collectively outraged, because we are stuck trying to keep the mortgage paid and the lights on while they hold all the wealth and hurt children. Okay? So we're stuck in this loop of modern day slavery, and most of us, we don't even really know it or question it. And when the exploitation of innocent children becomes just another cycle in our daily lives, well, I think we must be spiritually bankrupt as human beings. When corruption becomes background noise, our societal decline is no longer theoretical. It is very active and evident. I believe our goal needs to be reformation of the system. And, that may take a bit of revolt. Our ancestors, the Revolutionary War, that's what revolt is. It's revolution. I think we need to shift power back into the hands of the people. And here's how. And again, it's not going to happen overnight. But collectively, we can boycott the products they're selling us at the stores, and especially the fast food restaurants. If it's real packaged and glowy, it's probably not good for you. Start reading ingredients. Stop buying the stuff with all the bad stuff. They're trying to kill you with that stuff. Everything in the store, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've been eating a pretty holistic diet where I can. Try to source your foods how you can, because I want you to know those products, they control those products as well. And those products that are in the stores, a lot of them are designed to hurt us and can cause harm. And I'm not expecting anyone to be perfect. You're going to have to get some stuff at the store, But where you can go to a farmer's market or buy local, try to do so. Or even better, begin cultivating your own food if that's an applicable avenue for you. And I think we also need to start at our state and local governments for support. Everything happening on the federal level is absolute nonsense, guys. Our states need to step in and start acting like sovereign countries, I believe, to protect us from the evil powers that be. I call for our states to start making a difference because it's a sensible place to start, I believe. I couldn't imagine, if the state started standing up for the citizens, or, we started to try governing ourselves because things are so crazy within our, small communities. I couldn't imagine the federal government turning the military loose on like the states themselves, like Texas or Ohio. But who knows to what lengths the elite will go to protect themselves. I would hope they would never try to start a civil war again. Which brings me to my next point. They control the military, which is why we're all scared. That's why I'm scared. I don't have any money. They could, hire someone to come unalive me right now. But a better idea, one I proposed and sort of came to me, since they control the military, what about this? This is a wild one. I know, crazy idea. What if we all stopped fighting? What if the people piloting the planes and dropping the bombs just decided to quit because they were awakened to the fact that maybe these people on this island eating children, maybe we shouldn't be fighting their wars. Maybe. What if the good in the world collaborated to defeat the evil in the world? Like a Power Rangers episode. That was my favorite show growing up. Is there too much evil in the world for that to happen? Am I naive for thinking I can make a difference? Time will tell. Here's what I think we do this week. We demand transparency from institutions and elected officials. We support survivors by seeking justice. We show up civically at hearings, boards, councils, votes. Push for state and independent oversight where conflicts exist at the federal level. And we use economic pressure ethically to our best advantage if we can. I understand we still got to buy gas and we're still stuck in their systems. I get it. I know. And what's crazy is if you think about the people, like people are discovering, there's videos, you can look it up. A guy figured out how to make a car run on biodegradable plastic. He was melting down plastic and powering his cars. You know how much plastic we have? And they say, we're running out of fuel. What are we using fuel for? That's what I'm saying. Like, they're governing us and keeping us, and scientific revelations, they're keeping everything so compact tight so they can control the world. And we keep fighting their wars to make them money. The regular people. And, I know this sounds like I'm calling for world peace, but in a lot of ways, given the crimes that are alleged against humanity in these files, I sort of am. I'm calling for the world to stop fighting and to maybe look at why are these elites on this island doing these terrible things? I think we can all agree that these things are terrible. I don't care how bad of a human you are. So we use our economic pressure ethically, and we protect the kids in our own communities first. And even in the slightest way, even being a keyboard warrior can help in this. Even that can help. Standing up, speaking out, heck, even making an outrage Facebook post. Just even letting them know you're aware and outrage can help. I'm not a person who spews hate or a person who really even likes to be negative. But I honestly don't think we're mad enough, guys. I think it's time to start getting to the truth of who is all behind all these terrible things in the world and who we can trace our problems back to. And I think it resides within the elitists who control the world. And, think about some of the videos. I said, I don't know, maybe they're leaking all this to get us in a new distraction. Just like when 9/11, they initiated that Patriot Act. I don't know. But that brings us to the word of the day today. And because, we're talking about corruption, abuse, and all this terrible stuff. The word of the day is truth. And not my truth, not your truth, not the version of the truth that gets the most likes, not the version that protects the 1% with all the money, the truth that's in the Bible. And our first verse today is John 8:32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And that's the whole point, guys. Truth doesn't just inform you, it frees you. It frees you mentally from the chains society has placed on us, especially the truth within Jesus Christ and in the Bible. Our next verse is Proverbs 12:22. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. That's not God dislikes lying. That's the Bible stating lying is an abomination. So if we're claiming faith and being good human beings, we don't get to deceive. And our final verse for today, perhaps the one you all know the most, John 14:6. Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Jesus is our direct path to salvation, divine truth, and eternal life, guys. I just want you all to know that, and you can always talk to Jesus through all this. And, I've been talking to him a lot, and, he even called me to make this. And I mean that. So let me tie this into where we're all headed, because although I am very angry about these files and everything that's in them, this episode, it isn't just anger. It's sort of a direction. And here's what I want you guys to do with this episode. I want you to ask yourself a real question this week. Ask yourself, what does truth require of me? Because if the truth of what's going on in the world right now matters to you, then it'll change your behavior a little bit. And that's the thing. What I'm asking for isn't complicated. It's sort of a standard. Because right now, it feels like there's two worlds. One where regular people get consequences, and one where money, connections, and status work like armor and keep you out of harm's way. And I'm not even saying that to be edgy or controversial. I'm saying it because I know we're all feeling it or have felt it at some point. The systemic oppression some are excluded from is mind-blowing. I feel it. You can feel it when you think your buddy gets cooked over something small like a DUI or some marijuana, and then you have someone famous who is on some island doing the most horrendous acts ever uttered by mankind, and they get handled quietly. Or even worse, let off with no repercussions. They get their names blacked out of the files. They're too important, guys. They're too important. And the internet sleuths are on this, man. It's all coming out. How can we respect a system that picks and chooses who it persecutes? Short answer, we can't. So let me make this stupidly simple. If a child is harmed, it should not matter who did it. If you don't agree with me, then you're part of the problem. And listen, I'm not interested in a witch hunt. I'm not interested in these rumors and findings as entertainment. I'm not interested in internet blood sport. I'm willing to die if it means helping innocent children. That seems like a worthy cause to me. I'm interested in uncovering the truth and reforming the systems that govern us, because they are completely fucking broken, folks. The only people who fear truth are the people who did something that can't survive it. So if you're listening and you feel that it's all hopeless thing trying to creep in, like, dang man, this is all too big. What can I do? Here's what you can do. You can stop letting it become background noise. You can stop letting people shame you out of asking questions. And you can stop pretending it's all just politics when it's actually morality. Big evil loves one thing: a powerless population that believes they're powerless. Evil and the devil love a distracted man, a tired man, a numbed out man, a man who feels powerless and stays a victim and in his vices. And like I said, as we ascend to the surface here, I want you guys to know that this episode isn't about paranoia. It's not about conspiracy. It's about terrible, terrible things the world or elite doing right now in front of our faces. This episode is about one thing. We do not look away. We face facts where facts exist. We ask questions where questions remain. And now, more than ever, we must question the powers governing our reality. And we must stay human, grounded in good morals, ones like we read about in the Bible. Facing darkness does not require becoming darkness. We just need to shed enough light. And I believe we need to do it together. The world doesn't just need more takes, although if you're outraged, I implore you to please share this video or express your own outrage. The world needs more men and women with standards. More people who will stand up and try to protect the innocent. More people who won't sell their conscience for comfort, fame, and money. More people who won't be bullied into silence. So here's my ask, and it's very simple, guys. If you made it this far in the podcast, share it on your feed for me so it might find another person who can help us make an impact. You might just be doing the world a favor. If it challenged you or your beliefs in any way, I ask you to sit with it, don't run from it, and do some research of your own. And if it moved you to speak up, speak out, I'm glad and I appreciate and thank you for listening. Do one thing this week that pulls the world towards truth. One email, one post, one meeting or petition signed, one share, one step toward being the type of person evil can't use. Stay sharp. Stay grounded. Stay on the right side of history. We'll see you Wednesday.